the player that I wanted to talk about, because he's not on our list and he needs to be mentioned, is Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who I've done he's the only pitcher that I actually did an expose on for the next big thing. So go check that out, because that's going to give you all the information that I have in my head about him right there in a nice clean presentation. Then you get to see some video of him. But he's an import from Japan. This guy just signed the largest contract in Major League history for a pitcher ever. And he's coming over from Japan. That's just shocking. Like, he signed for more money than top Major League pitchers, Garrett Cole. So he's just absurd, and he can make a claim to potentially be the greatest Japanese pitcher in Nippon professional baseball history. He's coming over with that, and he's only 25 years old.
Yep.
So still really young. His career ERA in Japan was 1.72. He won 3, I believe, E.G. Sawamura awards, which is the Nippon Professional Baseball League equivalent to the Cy Young Award. I mean, it's a pretty impressive resume for a 25-year-old, pitched through his age 24 season. Roki Sasaki gets all the headlines, and he deserves it because he's unbelievable. I can't even imagine what that contract will look like if he makes it to 2027 or whatever before he comes over, because that thing, as long as he stays healthy, is going to be absurd. So even though he deserves it, Yamamoto has been the more effective pitcher. He's been the best pitcher in Japan, and so we get to see what he's going to do stateside. This guy is my number one pitching prospect, if you can call him a prospect even. So that's why I felt like he needed to be talked about. Just listen to this. He's coming over this last season. He had a 1.16 ERA. 1.16 ERA with a 0.86 whip. So, I mean, it's not a bunch of pushovers there in Japan, Granted that from all reports, they're going through more of a dead ball era than like what we're seeing over here. Nonetheless, I think it's incredibly impressive, and he's clearly very, very much above his peers.
Polished.
So very polished. And if you watch him pitch, he's got an excellent repertoire. He's got this yo-yo curveball that he throws that's really good. His, I think it's a sinker splitter, is pretty devastating splitter, I think it is. And he throws in the mid to upper 90s with his fastball with excellent location. I think I saw somewhere, Baseball America or somewhere, gave him like an 80 grade for his control, which is really impressive. So there's a lot to be really excited about when it comes to Yamamoto. And I feel like he's been kind of short sold by people. Like, we're not taking him number one, We're not taking the guy that just signed the largest contract for a pitcher ever number one in your first year player draft. I don't know. I mean, I question that wisdom a little bit. It could potentially be the best pitcher in the league at that kind of money level. At least those executives believe that could be the case.
Yep. Between him and Ohtani, we had $300,000 go to Yamamoto. Did I say that right? Yamamoto.
325 million to Yamamoto.
Yep. And then $700 million to Ohtani. We had $1 billion between two players. Let's not. I know that he's not facing the same lineup every single game, but let's be honest about it. The Japanese just beat the Americans in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
I know it's not the same lineup, but there's hitters there. Some superb hitters.
No, we've got a really good one that's going to be coming over.
Yeah.
Maybe next 2 years from now, I think, Munetaka Murakami. I mean, he was chasing the Nippon professional baseball record, home run record, just 2 years ago. So they do have some hitters. I mean, they've got talent over there,
some
So
superb talent, obviously.
Superb talent.
So
and here's coming an extremely dominant pitcher to like flip the MLB on its head a little bit. So
yeah,
super excited about him.
Can it be a different ball game where 4 out of the 9 guys are slapstick? It could be, and whatever, it is what it is. But the 1.6 ERA,
1.16. Oh yeah, 1.72.
Okay,
yep.
In his career, that is wild.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're facing; you don't get that in the DSL.
Yeah, no, he's absurd, and I mean his entire career. So last year's 1.16, he also had a no-hitter last year, was the lowest single season of his career. But get this, the range in his career, the highest of his career was when he was an 18-year-old rookie, and it was a 2.35 ERA. That's the range. Yeah. I mean, it's minuscule. That's minuscule. And he won the E.G. Sawamura Award in 2022 with a 1.68 ERA, which is, I mean, that's pretty pedestrian by Yamamoto's standards at this point. So, I mean,
okay, let's say it translates to a 2 in the MLB. You get a Cy Young winner.
Yeah, well, no doubt if he's going to keep it that low.
I'm just saying.
No doubter.
I think that's 0.4 higher than what he's doing now. That's a Cy Young
I think
winner.
Projections are coming in more like between 3.5 ERA, and I mean, that's Zach Wheeler. If he's doing that and he's got durability, so far he's not showing any signs of any arm issues up to age now 25. So, I mean, he can immediately come in and maybe that's his floor. Is like a Zach Wheeler. That's pretty good. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, it'd be unfortunate, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'm thinking there's what we've seen with some guys coming over from Japan is that their strikeouts actually increase in the MLB recently. And we saw that with Senga. His strikeout rate was higher in the MLB than it was in the NPB. Overall, he was a little less effective, I would say. So, I mean, you could probably project along those lines. Like strikeouts are probably going to be a little bit higher for him. His ERA might be a little bit higher too. He's going to allow a few more runs, but I mean, if we're talking about a guy that has 10 Ks per 9 and a 2.5 to 3 ERA, that's an ace, right?
So how would you feel if he came over instantly and he was Mitch Keller?
Well, my expectations are
no.
Mitch Keller's not a bad pitcher.
I know. I want to hear your. I don't want to hear your expectations. But if he came over year one through a 4.2 ERA with, let's see, strikeouts. Where you at? A 9.7 strikeout per 9. An ERA of 4.21. Where's the strikeouts at?
How many innings did he throw?
194.
Okay. I mean, you couldn't consider it to be a failure, but my expectations, I would be disappointed with that output. I think he can do better. I would think we would want at least what Senga did last year from Yamamoto. Not necessarily the strikeout rate. I'm not expecting him to strike out as many guys as Senga, but I would expect for his ERA to be at least as good as Senga was, and that's a pretty good pitcher. So,
okay, let's mix.
Right, he had a 2.98 ERA. Wow, that would be pretty impressive.
Let's mix Tyler Keller from last year and this year. So let's say he has 210 strikeouts, 9.7 strikeouts per 9. So that's 210 strikeouts with 194 innings pitched.
I'd want to look at some factors like what's his whip looking like. If it's hovering around 1, you could always chalk up some of the ERA to be maybe being inflated a little bit. Maybe you'd want to look at fielding independent pitching, stuff like that to see if maybe he was unlucky. So that happens sometimes too, but I would want.
He's not going to get unlucky in Dodger Stadium. Not with that defense behind him.
Right. My baseline for him would be a lower expected ERA production, and probably piling up the wins, playing for the Dodgers. A strikeout rate that's close to what he was doing in the NPB or higher, which was 9.2 Ks per 9. So we're looking at somebody potentially that could be around 10 Ks per 9. Yeah, really could be very impressive.
If he's Mitch Keller next year, I would be ecstatic. Mitch Keller won 13 games, ERA. Yeah, I would be really excited if he was Mitch Keller next year. 4.2, whip 1.2, strikeouts 9.7, 13 wins. I like it. That
I like that too. I do too, but I mean, if you're signing the richest pitching contract of all time, I think the expectations are probably going to be.
He's 26.
Higher.
He's 26.
25. 25. He's 25.
Well, he'll be 26, right?
He'll be 25.
Oh, wow.
He pitched last year at 24.
Okay.
25 this year. Yeah.
I don't know why I was so hung up on Mitch Keller there, but it is what it is.
Yamamoto, go get him. FYPD, my expectation there is that he has a case to be number 1. Right now, I'm placing Langford number 1 and him number 2. But if you're looking to win now and if you're in need of pitching, Yamamoto is probably your guy. I think it's kind of a coin flip, to be honest.
I'm always going to lean towards the bat.
And me too. So hence me picking a guy, some minor leaguer over a guy that just signed the largest major league pitching contract of all time. So